Flee from lust. That is one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever received when it comes to battling these sexual urges. We're going to get biblical for a second, because the exact quote is from Jesus Christ, and he says to flee from sexual immorality. And honestly, that's spot on, because speaking for myself, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys, we were born in a generation where we had technology at our disposal at a very young age, and we could find these things, or someone could show these things to us, or we could find, those ads hiding everywhere that led you to those lewd sites, the corn. But, just as an example, we had iPads in high school. We got iPads, so I had an iPad when I was like 13 years old, which was my first, outside of like a desktop. I never had a laptop growing up, but outside of a desktop, we had these iPads, and they didn't have any restrictions on them for the first 2 or 3 years. And, they learned after a couple of years that they needed to put those on there. But for the first few years, we just had these gadgets that, we took home with us, and lust becomes very accessible with that sort of access. And, I'm sure the restrictions are better now, but I don't think there is a high school nowadays that doesn't offer or doesn't enforce even laptops or iPads or some sort of tablet or some e-learning or online learning. And even if you don't have those, everybody has a cell phone now. Everybody has a cell phone. And lust is more than just looking up those websites. Lust is everywhere. Social media is just half-naked women everywhere. And you can find it really anywhere that you go, in the form of an advertisement, or in the form of somebody's account, or just too many places, to be honest. And it's horrific. And it's a type of addiction, just like any other addiction. It's like drinking, or it's like smoking. It's something that your body becomes adjusted to and convinces itself, because it's a form of programming, that it needs it. And the really scary thing about not just lust, but any addiction, is that it convinces you that you need it much, much, much more than you do if you need it at all. And this is one of the terrifying realities of lust, which I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about, and that is that it is a never-ending vortex that consumes itself. It never has enough. It always wants more, and this is the same with any addiction. It's like with alcohol. I've met people in my life that are just day drinkers, and they keep a flask in their pocket, and they just drink regularly at work or wherever. And that's how addiction can really take hold of you. And this is the importance of fleeing lust more than confronting it, because you can't confront lust head on. That's stepping into its ring. That's exactly where it wants you. And it will tempt you, and it will convince you. So, lust is one of the 7 deadly sins, and it is the only sin that Jesus specifically says to run from. He doesn't say to fight it. He doesn't say to converse with it. He doesn't say to meet it on its grounds at all. He says completely to flee from it. And this is very good advice for someone that's suffering addiction in this realm. And it's a very real reality, and it's the worst that it's ever been. With all of the technology and the internet and all the different places that you can find it, a kid with a phone can find this stuff, out the womb pretty much. At 3, 4, 5 years old, they're susceptible to this stuff. And, I was kind of a victim of that. I think the first time that I ever saw stuff was I was maybe 9 or 10, and that was from a desktop because my cousin was showing it to me, I believe. But it's just too accessible, and it's too dangerous to have available for just anyone at any time. And it destroys your mind in more ways than one. It can be humiliating. It can make you feel ashamed, deeply ashamed. It changes how you view the opposite sex tremendously. And you can pull yourself out of that, and there's going to be some scar tissue, I'm sure, of the way that you view the world after the fact, but you can really heal yourself and pull yourself out of this, but you have to run from it. You have to find something else to do. And I don't know what that is for you. Everybody's different. It could be playing a game such as Minecraft. It could be going fishing. It could be taking a walk. It could be learning a skill. It could be so many different things. But you truly need to run from this demon because this demon will kill you. This demon will actually rot your mind and your soul and destroy you and not care at all. People are talking about it more, which is good. I'm seeing more things online about people trying to give advice or get others to understand that it's a dangerous life path to play with lust the way that our society plays with it today. It's seen as so normal. In thousands of years ago, we had brothels. You had to go outside of your house to go into these areas to do this act. It was a very, big decision. You had to plan it. You had to, and it could have just been a stroll after the bars for sure. It could have been as casual as that, but you still had to be outside of your house. You had to be actively pursuing something like this. But it's literally in your pockets, at your fingertips now. It is easily reachable on all ends. And I don't know if you're a Christian. I don't know how you feel about Jesus Christ, but this is the best advice I've ever received: to run from it. Because if you can concern yourself with something else and allow it to be pushed to the background instead of the foreground, because that's really what it's doing. It's wrestling, and you're wrestling it, or it's wrestling you to get to the front of your mind to convince you. It literally takes control. It takes over you, just like any addiction. I've never been an alcoholic. I've certainly had my fair share of drinking in my life, but I was never an alcoholic. But I'm sure it's very similar. It pulls at you to open the bottle or get on your phone and look up something that you probably shouldn't. And, I said social media sucks. That's a video I did a couple days ago. And social media does not help. It really doesn't. Snapchat's by far the worst. I already said that, but social media is horrible about this stuff, because if you don't know how the algorithm works, and maybe a provocative video pops up on your screen and you don't immediately click away, you watch it for a whole 3 seconds, more videos like that will pop up into your feed. And if you don't control it or you don't avoid it, your whole feed can be replaced with just things that pull that lust out of you. And that's really dangerous because it's not helping. And now you really can't go anywhere without seeing it. And that's one of the big reasons that I deleted a bunch of my social medias, including not interested in this post, which that helped a lot as well. My Instagram used to be flooded with all sorts of just things that weren't helping. And if you hold down on the poster, I think it's the triple dots up in the corner of the post, you can click not interested in this post and it will wipe it from your algorithm, which is very helpful. But I mean, really, you just can't go anywhere without seeing this stuff. It's the most normal that I think the world has ever made it. And there's a lot of people suffering. There's a lot of people that were introduced to this stuff at a young age, and maybe they didn't think it was that bad for them, or they were told it wasn't that bad for them, or I don't know, maybe they were shamed into it. There's so many different forms that it could take, but this addiction forms from childhood for a lot of people, and you don't even realize that you don't even realize the harm that it's doing until you're already an adult or you're almost an adult, and you just realize how many years have gone by and you've been addicted. And like I said, it'll take everything from you. It wants everything. Same with an alcohol addiction. It will kill you. It will take everything that it can and tell you that it wants even more, even if you're genuinely destroying yourself along the way. That's not even a good enough reason to quit for an addict. If you want what worked for me, it was deleting a majority of my social media apps, and it was fleeing from it, like running from it, taking a walk or finding something else to do, or just conditioning my mind to not allow me to go to those places. And if you're going to be on social media and you're going to watch these things that lead to it, if you tell yourself, oh, I'll be fine, I can watch just a measly video, or if photos pop up in my Instagram feed, that's whatever, that is exactly what's feeding the demon. That is precisely what will lead you back to that dark corner. And you don't want to be there. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there, and it's not a good place to be, and you can feel really powerless and ashamed and helpless, and it's not a good place to be. So I recommend entirely to run from it. Reprogram your algorithms, delete social media if social media is not doing anything for you anyway. Develop some hobbies or some habits that will just condition this out of you, because trust me when I say that you don't need to do this on a daily basis. You don't even need to do it on a weekly basis. You don't even need to do it on a monthly basis. You could literally stop altogether. Now, I don't take this literally, but this is just another quote from Jesus. He says, if your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. If your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. He didn't mean that literally. He doesn't want you to, get the butcher knife out of the drawer because you feel like you're about to go into that dark spot. But he's making a huge point. If that urge pops up into you, and it can be anything, once again, that wants to take over and take and take and take, it's best to just avoid it entirely, because it will only rot your mind and your soul. So this is going to be a shorter video, but this is today's word. This is something that's important in today's world, because man, we're just at a scary state with technology. I think it's a little much for us at the moment. especially when we don't have any restrictions on it. I understand that they're making a lot of websites illegal or banned or whatever, but if you really want to find this stuff, you're going to find it. So for those people out there that have too much freedom for their own good, which I've definitely been someone in that category, I just want to say that there is hope and there is a way to escape this reality, but you have to run from it. If you think that you can confront this, you are already in the losing position. There is no confronting this. You want to avoid lust and build systems around it because it will kill you. It will take over your mind, and you won't be the same person because it wants all of you, just like any other addiction. Like I've said, alcoholism wants all of you. Nicotine addiction wants all of you. And if you don't put a stop to it, or if you don't put some sort of organization onto it, which in the case of lust, it should just be zero. Obviously, if you have a wife or if you have a girlfriend, that's different. But if it's lust for its own sake, it is not good. And it's best to flee from it altogether. So, thanks for watching.